Hey,
Hello.
how you doing? Sorry Taylor couldn't be here with us today, but as you know, I previously discussed with him the opportunity for the new earplugs to get, in your business. And one reason I find those very, very important is because when it comes to things like safety, I know that you're a business, I know that you're trying to save money, but some things there's just a price that you have to pay for it. And one of those things I really believe is safety. You can't really cut corners with that. Because, with the earplugs, there's so many people in America daily who lose their hearing, and about 1/3 of all those cases is due to preventable hearing injuries, So when you try to take shortcuts and things like that to prevent hearing problems in the workplace or lower quality earplugs, a lot of things can occur. You can get OSHA fines if an employee has to take off because of hearing damage, you're losing money then, workers' comp and things like that. An OSHA fine by itself is $2,000. So that's just things to worry about when you're trying to cut corners. So you might save money in the short term buying cheaper earplugs, but you can incur a lot of other costs getting those cheaper earplugs. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, about they're replaceable, right?
Yeah.
They're replaceable.
Correct.
And also, what about I'm struggling in my company with my workers are getting a lot of ear infections. I don't know if that will help or.
Right. So one of the things, like those ear infections that you talked about, with the current earplugs that you have, they're the rollout ones. So your actual hands, will touch the earplugs when you're rolling them out. And in your workplace, I know a lot of times workers' hands can be dirty and they have all these microfibers on their hands, these really, really tiny microscopic shards of glass and stuff like that. So when they're touching the earplugs, rolling them out and put them in their ears, the earplugs get infected and dirty. But what's good about the ones that I'm marketing is the earplugs themselves have these tips on them. They have these little handles. So your hands never touch the actual earplugs that are going into your ears. You just grab the handles and you insert them. And what's good about them also is another problem is ear agitation, because some earplugs are really uncomfortable, but these earplug models have a rigid shape. They have a rigid shape and sort of a cone shape. So there's different levels to them, and they're flexible to your ear, so they fit the shape of any ear they're put into.
So those levels help for the noise and for the noise canceling, right?
Correct. Because when you put them in, they sort of seal themselves depending on the size of your ear, so they're a perfect fit. Well, if you use an earplug that's too small, too big, you might have too much noise reduction, or you might have too little. And then again, you're playing around with, the OSHA standards at that point. You're risking hearing damage, all that type of stuff.
Perfect.
Any more questions?
About you said that in a long run, it will help me with my with the pricing.
Yeah, in the long run, it'll save you more money. So currently, they are more expensive than normal earplugs, because normal earplugs, you could probably get them for $48 a case, while these are $96 a case.
Okay, more expensive.
Right. They're way more expensive. But the thing is, like I said before, when you're using cheaper earplugs, there are problems like the ear infections. Workers have to take off. If they're not getting proper hearing protection, then you're going to risk OSHA fines, which can total up to $2,000. So even though you're saving more by getting the cheaper earplugs, you're going to end up paying more because of the injuries that you occur. And when you could have just got the slightly more expensive box of earplugs and avoid that altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, our earplugs, they're also, like I said, they're reusable. They're way more durable. So even though they cost more, you're going to get more uses out of them. So instead of using the multiple cheaper earplugs, you would just use the more expensive one multiple times. So even though they are more expensive on paper, they balance out at the end of the day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, perfect. And also, I've been struggling that some of my workers sometimes lose the earplugs.
They lose them?
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, because that happens, because a lot of earplugs are just like the two separate pieces. I can understand why that happens. So what's special about these is they're also connected by a string that you put around your neck. So you ever see those headphones?
Yeah.
So you could put them in your ears like that, and then there's a string so they can just hang instead of you having to put them in your pockets or hold them in your hand. They're also very bright colored orange. Like you see the construction workers wearing the reflective vests and things like that. They're colored like that. So they're really hard to miss where you're just looking around for them. They're not like a dull gray color or something like that that would blend in with the work plates. They're very bright and easy to see on the eye.
Perfect.
Mhm.
That sounds great.
Mhm.
I'm actually very interested about your the earplug that you're talking about.
All right, so the next step we could take, I can probably give you a trial of the earplugs just to make sure you like them, because I would hate for you to pay for a product that you don't like in the first place, and I really want to get all those concerns out of the way. So we can get you a trial, probably like 100 pairs. We can get you 100 pairs of the earplugs for you and your workers to test and see if you like them. And this is another thing we offer, but it's a system just to make sure that the earplugs that you're using are up to the standards and they prevent the proper amount of noise. It's a system that 3M also sells. So I'll talk about that at a later date, but I'm just letting you know just to make sure that the earplugs you have are working and right for the job. We can use that.
Okay, perfect. I love the idea. Okay,
All right, so we can schedule a meeting later and then we can talk about that.
all right, perfect. Thank you.